Look, if you clicked on this explainer looking for that edge to level up your athletic performance, I really need you to stop and listen carefully for a second. Because today, we're exposing a pregame habit that you, and honestly, almost every athlete out there, are probably doing right now. It's a habit that is actively but quietly sabotaging your performance before your shoes even hit the court. You think you're getting your body locked in for competition. But the reality? The reality is actually way more concerning.
Okay, so let's dive right into this. Picture this scenario, right? You're about to play a match. You drop your bag, you reach down to touch your toes, and you just hold that stretch for a good 30 seconds. It feels right, doesn't it? It feels like you're getting loose and limber. Well, I'm going to stop you right there. If you're doing a long, static hold right before the whistle blows, you are literally warming your muscles straight into a weaker state. Yeah, you heard me. You are basically handing away your power to your opponent before the game even begins.
So what's actually going on here? The sports science behind why this happens comes down to something researchers call stretch-induced neural inhibition. Now, I know that sounds super complex, but here's what it actually means for you. When you pull a muscle into a long, passive static hold, your nervous system reacts. It essentially hits a temporary mute button. It dials down the go signal to that specific muscle. Instead of waking your body up for action, you're neurologically telling it, hey, time to go to sleep.
And the absolutely crucial point here revolves around one staggering metric: 30. Multiple studies on pre-activity stretching have found that engaging in long-duration static stretching, and again, just to be clear, that's holding a stretch without moving, can temporarily reduce your muscular power output and your reaction speed. And the crazy part, it doesn't just happen for a minute or two. This weakened state can last for up to 30 minutes afterward. I mean, think about that. The entire first half of your game could literally be played with diminished strength and slower reflexes. No way you want that, right?
And this is exactly why this matters so much for modern athletes. If you're playing an explosive sport, let's take pickleball as a prime example here. What do you need most? You need those explosive first steps. You need lightning-fast, quick direction changes just to reach the ball. Walking onto the court with a dampened nervous system is quite literally the worst possible state to be in. Your brain is shouting, go, 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 but your muscles, well, they're operating on a severe delay just because of that long toe touch you did back in the parking lot.
All right, so let's pivot to the actual solution here, because the fix is definitely not to just abandon stretching entirely. It's really just a matter of timing. We need to upgrade your routine. We know static stretching dampens the nervous system, but does that mean it's evil? No, of course not. It just means you save those long static holds for after you play, or maybe for a dedicated mobility session on your rest days. That is when static stretching genuinely helps your long-term flexibility. But right before you play, you need to switch to dynamic movement. Dynamic movement activates your nervous system. It flips the switch right to on.
So what exactly does that look like? Well, here's your 5 to 8 minute dynamic fix. It's brisk, it's rhythmic, and it gets you absolutely ready to dominate. We're talking about leg swings to open up the hips, walking lunges with a twist to engage the core and legs all at once, lateral shuffles to prep for those fast side-to-side bursts, and arm circles just to loosen up that upper body. These dynamic movements are actively raising your core temperature, they're lubricating your joints, and most importantly, they are waking up your nervous system so your first point performance is explosive and totally ready to go.
Now, look, I want to be completely honest with you guys and share a really small but super important nuance in the sports science. The research actually does show an exception, and it's this magic number, under 15 seconds. The data is kind of mixed on very brief static holds. If you're just quickly holding a stretch for less than 15 seconds, it doesn't seem to cause that same massive drop-off in power and reaction time. So, a super quick tug on the quad, that isn't going to ruin your whole game.
But here is the trap. And man, it's a big one. A lot of you watching this right now probably hold those stretches for a really comfortable 30 to 60 seconds simply because it feels like a good warm-up. You know what I mean? We've all been conditioned to think that muscle tension releasing means we're ready for sport. Well, I have to challenge that completely. If that long stretch feels right before a game, that feeling is actively working against you. You are confusing muscular relaxation with athletic readiness. And trust me, those are two very, very different things.
And that brings us to our final takeaway, which is a philosophy I really want you to carry with you. It's the small, sometimes kind of boring, but incredibly evidence-based adjustments, exactly like this one, that truly separate the casual hobby players from the fierce, competitive ones. You have the science now, so what's it going to be? Are you going to keep making the exact same stretch mistake, or are you going to optimize? If you're ready to completely overhaul your pregame routine and you want a full, step-by-step, dynamic warm-up that you can copy right before your next match, let me know in the comments below this explainer. I read them all, and if there's enough demand, I'll break down that exact routine for you next. Until then, stay dynamic and stay explosive.